Hello YouTube. There aren't really that many modern toy lines that I rate highly, but this is one of them. These are the Grocery Gang by Moose Toys, and as you can see, they're really brightly coloured, food-based kind of figures and things. I mainly like the larger figures. I'm not trying to collect all of the smaller ones because there are hundreds, if not thousands of them. Um, I may collect sort of some of my favourites, but mainly I want to collect these larger figures. I'm going to go through them all in this video. This is basically a resource for any of you guys that want to collect them, and I'll name all of these larger figures just so you can look back at it and you can use it if you need to. Incidentally, one of my favourite toy lines from back in the 80s were called the Food Fighters. They're basically like a whole load of little items of food, like a burger and a hot dog and all this kind of thing. And they were kind of like little army characters. So they had boots and hats and things and little guns. And they were really cool. So have a look at those if you get a chance, because I just bought a load of those recently. And I've been collecting those back. The difference between those and these is that they cost a small fortune because they're collector's items and yeah, they're vintage, so they cost a lot. Whereas these are still pretty reasonable to pick up at the moment. I have a feeling they might become more expensive though as they get harder to find on eBay and that sort of thing. As you can see, they're all brightly coloured. You know, they're robust, they stand well, so they're really sturdy. They've got like shoulder joints and, you know, leg joints, so you can move the arms and legs, you can move the head around. And what I really love about them is that they're not too big. Even these larger characters, they're probably only like 3 or 4 inches high. And I'll show you one later. I'll pick one up so you can see it on the video. Most of these modern toy lines I just come across when I'm looking for vintage toys on eBay. So I've done a few videos recently on other toy lines that I like to collect. So if you're into these more modern toys, check out one's called Bath Buddies. Done a video on those. Also, one's called Crate Creatures. Check those out. And also Swampsters that were available at Early Learning Centre. They're pretty cool too and really cheap to buy. Most of these individual figures I've been able to pick up on eBay for between £5 and £15 each. As you can see, like the main figures, like this guy here, come with a weapon and they come with a small figure which is called a Trashie. Most of mine came complete and quite a few of them I bought as sort of job lots, but some of mine haven't got the weapon or they haven't got the Trashy, so I still need to kind of source those on eBay individually. It's like with a lot of things on eBay, if you buy huge lots with loads of figures in, you tend to end up paying a lot less per figure, whereas if you buy them individually, they can be so much more. Also, if you decide you want to collect them in their packs, then, you know, because they're kind of considered new, you'll still be probably looking to pay maybe £30 each, £35 each, up to maybe £50 for some of the rarer ones. So I don't bother collecting them in their packets because, for one thing, it just takes up way too much storage space and I just haven't got the room. So I keep them like this, and I'll show you later how I store them all. I do really love figures that come with accessories. So, like most of these have got their weapon and they got their Trashy. This guy's got these two little silver blob things that he clings onto, like little creatures. And yeah, I just love that. I love the fact that you've got to collect certain bits to make sure that your figure is complete. And then I love kind of ticking them off on a checklist to make sure that I've got everything. I think Moose Toys used to make a load of little figures that were called the Trash Pack, and then these Grocery Gang figures are kind of a spin off from those original ones, and these have done really well, I think. And I think it's because they are just so brightly coloured and just such a cool size. I think I've always loved figures that were based on food as well since I was a kid. I think probably because I was brought up with like the old Munch Bunch books and characters like the California Raisins as well. Incidentally, the Food Fighters figures that I was telling you about earlier, I made a video recently because I also do a bit of sculpting, and I decided to make my own line of food fighters figures as like a sort of second series. So yeah, check out my video on that as well if you get a chance, because I made some quite fun characters, some quite quirky ones. Right, I'll go through some of the larger items in this collection just to show you. Most of these I didn't buy on purpose, they just came with a load of figures in a sort of job lot. Um, but this one, the big donut, I bought that separately because I noticed you could buy it from the US and it was something like 40 quid or something, and plus shipping. And then I saw somebody selling one in the UK and it was like £7 with postage. Same with this one. So they're rubbery, these massive things, and I just thought they'd look really good in a display with all the figures, so I bought them. This dinosaur is called a Trashosaur, and he's really cool. He's got like firing guns, and you press a button on the back, and his mouth opens and closes. Um, and he's got his little shopping basket, so you can put figures and things in it. I just think he's really good fun, so I'd probably keep him. Yeah, this is the button on the back here that you press, and his mouth opens and closes. See, that action's really great. You can imagine that if you're a kid as well, chomping on some of the food. The motorbike's pretty cool, and it's fairly small as well compared to the larger vehicles. Also, a lot of old vintage toys had motorbikes in their toy lines. Like there's the Mad Balls, they had their Mad Balls roller cycle. And there was also the Toxic Crusaders motorbike as well, which was really cool. This larger dustbin lorry I might end up selling off because it's just huge. Right, I've lined up the figures into 3 groups and I'm just going to go through them all now and name them all. This is the bit that's like going to be most useful if you're collecting these yourself. So this first guy is called Putrid Power Putrid Pizza. All of this first row are going to be from the Putrid Power series. So this next guy is called Vac Attack. He's one of the only figures that's got this metallic finish. This next figure is called Gooey Chewy, and he's based on a chewed up bit of bubblegum. The next one, still in the Putrid Power range, is called Trash Head, and you can see he's got his little fish bones there, which I really like. He's a dustbin, obviously. Okay, this is Fungus Fries. You can see he's like a carton of French fries. Then Blowfly, this is one of my favourite characters. Then we've got Grub Sub. He's like a sandwich with all the filling. And then this is Dodgy Donut, like that massive donut that I had was based on him. And then we've got Squish Banana, who is missing his weapon and he hasn't got the right Trashy yet. Okay, this next row is all the Bug Strike series, and this is Putrid Pizza again, but a variation from the first one. Then we got Captain Lice Cream, another one of my favourite characters. Fungus Fries again, but this time he's a green colour rather than red. Then we got Grot Dog, another one of my favourites, with his really spiky weapon there. Another Dodgy Donut, this time with a hat and a knife and fork. Then we got General Arak Attack, who is obviously a spider, and he's one of my favourites as well. Right, we're still carrying on with the Bug Strike figures, but these next 4 all glow in the dark. So you got Glow Trash Head as the first one. Then this one is Glowing Gooey Chewy. Next one is Glowing Grub Sub. And then you can see this last one is called Glowing Cyber Slop Pizza. Right, the final row is a series called Time Wars. So again, we've got another Putrid Pizza here, but he looks different again. He looks like a caveman. Then we've got Cyber Slop Pizza. Next one is Gooey Chewy, who you remember from the first series, but he's different again. Then we've got Bad Beans Shooter, little tin of baked beans. And then we've got Pirate Shark with lots of R's, like a pirate. And obviously he's got his harpoon missing. Then we've got Jock Slop Burger. He hasn't got his weapon either. Grotty Graffiti, he needs his weapon. Potato Punk, he needs his weapon and his Trashy. And then we've got Trash Head Metallic as well, the other metallic figure. So you can probably tell that most of the figures that I still need to get weapons or trashies for are from that Time Wars line at the back. There are 4 more actual figures that I need to get as well. So there's this silver dodgy donut guy. Then we've got Trash Head with a red lid. And then we've got this Space Jump Pumpkin. It's a pretty cool one. And this guy's called Spewy Lou. Right, I promised you that I was going to show you how I store these. So when they're all out on the floor, they take up a lot of space, obviously. But if you kind of put them neatly like this into a wooden box, they don't take up much space at all. With a lot of vintage plastic toys, they faded over time, especially if they were white, they would yellow quite a lot. So I try to keep a lot of my toys in the dark. Having said that, I think with these more modern toys, the pigments are probably a lot better. And I do like the idea of having them on display someday in a cabinet. And you can buy special lighting that hasn't got UV in anyway. In the meantime, it's just really nice knowing that they're safe and they don't take up very much room. My philosophy with a lot of this toy collecting is rack 'em and stack 'em, basically. Okay, I also said that I was going to pick up one of the figures just to give you an idea of the scale of it. So here is Captain Lice Cream. He's probably my favourite character. That little green blob of ice cream on top of his head is the lice, I think. He's got his louse attached to his head. But that thing comes off. So it's quite hard to find him with that little green blob still intact. I think it quite often goes missing. And he's got his little trashy ice cream with him as well. But what a cool idea just to give him his own little head louse. The rest of the Grocery Gang range basically consists of a lot more vehicles, but also a lot more trashy sized figures, really small ones. There are, like I say, hundreds or probably even 1,000, I don't know. There's a lot of little tiny characters, and you've got little checklists so you can see if you've got them all. I've just got this box with like some in, and I'm just going to buy just the odd few here and there that I think are particularly cool ones. There's a lot in this box that have got their own kind of little weapons and things as well. So it can get pretty complicated if you are trying to get all the little rare ones and that sort of thing, and to tick them all off. Most of these come in packs of just like 2 or 3, and so can you imagine if you had to buy all of the packs? And quite often they're blind bags as well, so you don't know what you're getting in the pack until you open it. This one here he's got a sort of soft velvety appearance to him, and he's like a sort of a mouldy fungus. So he got like one's called fungus fruits and that sort of thing. There are some real quirky little ones, but I just better not get into trying to collect all of them because it'll take me forever. If you are going to end up collecting these little trashies, it is worth trying to get some boxes a bit like the one that I've got here. I use these particular plastic boxes for all kinds of small figures, especially things like Lego figures, they're really good for as well. I managed to get the cost of these boxes down quite a lot by buying 15 in one go. Okay, if you grew up in the 80s like I did, and you want to see a whole load of vintage toys to bring back a bit of nostalgia, check out my other videos if you get a chance. Things like Tommy robots, Zoids, Transformers and GoBots, Super GoBots, Rock Lords and Gnarlies, Egg Monsters, Muscle Men, Battle Beasts, Blurt Balls, Mad Balls, what else? Spitballs, Miniature Thundercats, Full-Size Thundercats, He-Man, Power Lords, Inhumanoids, Toxic Crusaders, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Small Soldiers, Ghostbusters, Sectors, Britain's Aliens, Fraggle Rock, Sesame Street, Muppets, Dungeons and Dragons, Three Musker Hounds, Garfield, Peanuts, South Park, Beavis and Butthead. That's a bit more modern, but I collected a couple of things from that. Arco robots, Zarmek Z robots, Gambear robots, Fubi, Pocket Zorus. I haven't done the video for that yet. But yeah, check it all out if you get a chance. Hit subscribe to see anything that I post up in the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.